Hello everybody, welcome to Buzz Buggies. For starters, look at this, Hobao Hyper Caged. I absolutely love them. I've actually got two of these. This one will be sold though. I've got an orange cage one that I'll be getting out, just needs running in. But yeah, this one's going bye-bye because I need the money. But in this video, we are looking at the VS2 after its front ender it had the other day, which was pretty bad. I'll put a clip in of that. I found a weakness on the VS2, but we're taking out the 10 short course Nitro truck today, and hopefully we can get that running. Oh, I just love these cage buggies. But let's go, Buzz Buggies crew! Oh, nice. Oops. Oh dear. This buggy would have done this all day, honestly, landed on the grass like this one, that sort of pile of twigs there. But it's so strong, but it's the front ender that really did the damage. I'll show you now. Got the kettle on, gonna make a nice cup of tea. So, damage report. As you can see, that was one hell of a front end smash. And the main weakness in these buggies, this is the second time it's happened to me, is that it punches through. I did mention this before, but I don't know if I've since deleted that video actually, because I did like a thing where I went a bit weird, started deleting things. Can you see there, look? That's where that side's nearly punched through, and that side's gone well through. And that cutout there, I think that's very sort of gingerly, sneakily done on purpose. But around £15 to replace this part. It's CNC machined, but yeah, it's just a shame that. Boom. If you was driving this normally just round a car park or something like, it looks like one of them things you have at football or whatever, you know, them spinny things and rattles. I'm barking mad. Basically, what was I saying? Yeah, if you're just driving this around normally, it's going to last forever. It'll last you a lifetime, this buggy. And that descends, the big 20-foot in the air sends that I was doing where it was landing in that pile of twigs. Again, probably would have done that for most of the day with no issues. It's just that front end into concrete and bam. That's one thing that happens. We have not bent the shock tower. There's no damage to the shocks anywhere. We have slightly, very slightly bent the front dog bone, and I mean very, very slightly. I'm just going to put that back in as is. And then the bulkhead, the plastic bulkhead. Now, well, it's plastic. You can just see that hairline crack there. I believe you could actually just put that back in. And if you wasn't like sending it at skate park, you could drive that again. You can get metal Hobao or Hobao, I never know what it is, bulkheads. So that's probably an option, but I've just ordered another plastic one, and that was less than £10 for that full casing. So just wait for that to arrive. In today's video, like I said, we are going to go out with the 10 SC short course Nitro E thing. SC stands for short course. So basically a Hyper 10 car. So let's go. Vibes. Yo, come on then. Oh, yo. Get your RC car, you send it really far, you do a backflip, oh no you've gone and broke it, what a twit. What do? You go back home while you're tapping on your phone and you're in the zone, on the eBay, looking at the prices, rising every day in the UK, we're in a crisis, all stressed, but I'm doing my best, I'm on a quest, let's go and get this Nitro car running, let's go, Buzz Buggies, woo! There we have, Hyper 10, short course truck. You know, I nearly forgot what the... I'm so tired. So yes, Hyper 4-wheel drive 10 SC Nitro. It's quite a nice looking thing, and it's quite a big car as well. Do kind of like it. Getting back into me Nitros just recently, RC heads. Yeah, it's a nice thing that. We all love a short course, don't we? My Mojave Grom though, the other day, got a bit poorly. It's rattling its little head off, bless it. I don't know what's wrong with it. I stripped it down, had a look at it, greased things back up and whatever, but I don't know. But anyway, it's irrelevant for this video. This is what we've got. Set the body shell off it and we'll see if we can get it running. I've been fiddling about with this now
on and off for about the last week, just in the back garden. And it's got a HPI carb on a Hyper 18 engine. It took a little bit of dialing in, but I think we've got there. And the roto start, sorry, not the roto, the pull start broke on me, and I had to order a roto start because I thought, I'm sick of pulling things off. And we've now got that on there. That's your little 18 Hyper engine. Is it a Max Star or whatever? I don't know. Meshing's not perfect, and the end points on the brakes ain't great, but it's I don't know why, but every time I put a piece of paper in the little clutch bell there to try and mesh it, as soon as you tighten the engine up, it just would not go right. But it's not too bad. I think we'll get through this video, but quite a nice thing. Just had to, like, that's not even air filter foam, that's just some foam I found around the house and just wang around there. So and also it had a fuel filter on it which was causing issues, and it was causing idle to fluctuate, and it was doing all sorts of crazy things. And I've also had to put a new steering servo in there. Got a nice 40 kilogram servo, which is I just noticed some screws missing out of the throttle servo there. We might have issues today, people, but anyway, we will yeah, we'll give it a go, and if we crash it, don't we? So I'm going to get it all like turned on and everything. I'll show you where I've started with the high end screw, the low speed needle and idle gap, just to give you an idea. I'll give you a couple of little tuning tips, what I do just to get these things running, and where people make mistakes, and where I definitely made a lot of mistakes in the early days. So right, I'm just going to get everything out, and then we'll crack on and get this running. Things we need for this mission: always bring a couple of glow starters with you and make sure they're fully charged. We've got a nickel hydride Venom battery in there, also make sure that's fully charged. Hasn't got a fail safe on here, so for those that don't know, a fail safe means that if your battery runs out, what will happen is that throttle will just go wide open and the car will run off and just go on its own. You don't want that. You really want a fail safe on there, so something that I'm looking at for the future, but we haven't got one today. And if you see my previous videos, I've had runaways before, but as long as you're somewhere where it's safe, kind of like this, there's nobody around and it can sort of just go into a bush or something, we're not worried, are we? Another thing you could do is maybe a hair bobble and try and sort of wrap that around. I don't know, that's just something that somebody said to me. I've not really tried it because I can't see how on the trigger it's going to actually open properly. Anyway, right, so you're going to need some nitro fuel, a little bottle like this. We've got 20% Optimix here, Opti-Fuel, that's what we're using. I'm going to get some of this because no juice, no go. So that's the first thing we need to put in. We're going to fill the tank. It's gonna get some of that in there, like so. Sorry if you already know all this, but I've got to do it. I already had some in where I've been messing about, but there we go. Gonna fill your little tank up like that, and then get the roto start. This is a Fast Tracks roto start, and a Fast Tracks roto starter thingy. That's the old pulley. The spring has snapped in there. It's totally. See you later. I'm gonna put that. Oh, I'm going to put that in there, like so. You put your thumb on the exhaust, and we're just going to... Now, if you had clear fuel lines, you would see that the fuel has gone through the line. I can see that, even on these blue ones. But make sure, first thing where people go wrong, you haven't got no fuel in the head. Please make sure you don't get too much fuel in the head, because what will happen is it will cause compression in the head and you will knacker the glow plug. So I'm just going to take out the glow plug. So when you're first starting it, always just loosen off the glow plug a little bit. It's like a quarter turn. Now that's a fresh, nice glow plug in there, and I don't know if it's hot or cold or not. I really don't know. I don't even really bother with that, to be quite honest. I just buy some, put it in, and I'm no expert on hot and cold plugs, but you know, I think you want hot plug for colder weather and a cold plug for the hotter weather. I think that's right. I think cold plugs are shorter filaments, and a hot plug's a longer filament, sometimes thicker and thinner. That's what the numbers are about as well, and I really just don't go into all that. So we've primed up the car. We're going to need a screwdriver, right? This is pretty much set already. This low speed needle down here, what I find is do it flush. I don't know if you're really seeing that, peeps, but I'm sure you get the idea. Do it flush with the outer ball collar, and then just a little tiny quarter turn or half a turn outward. That's what I do there. Your idle gap in here, which is technically a stopper, which is the screw hiding underneath normally your high-speed needle down here. Idle gap, set that to 1 millimeter, and we can always reduce that later or increase if we need to. With the throttle closed, you're probably not seeing that, but just the thickness of the screwdriver end is enough for the idle gap. You really need radio gear on to get a true kind of idle gap there. The high-speed needle, do it flush, and then I would just go half a turn in just to make sure it's not too rich. Of course, if you're running an engine in and it's brand new, you want it rich on that high speed. So next thing, if we put the glow plug back in there, crew, yes we have. So all the way tight, and then just a little, just take that back a little bit and stop that compression damaging that glow plug. So we're all primed up and everything. Turn on your radio gear, turn on the car, make sure you've got steering, and make sure you've got a throttle, which we haven't for some reason. We've got a problem, it's hitting the case. So I'm just going to move that carb. So it's, of course, it needs to get air filter back. I'm just going to move the carb so that's actually not hitting that battery cover there, and then the throttle can open. Just going to sort that out. I really don't have much luck, do I? It's opening a bit. It's probably opening enough for this video, but definitely not getting full throttle. If I put a screw in there, it's going to hit the screw. It's just not. We might get away with that, and that's rounded off, this armour thing. I can't get that down. Can we seeing what the problem is here? I don't think that's fully opening. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to just send it. Right. A nightmare. But yeah, it's the wrong carb. I might need a spacer, so maybe raise that up a little bit or something in the future. But we'll get through. We'll get through. Right. Make sure before you even attempt to start any nitro that the throttle is definitely closed. I cannot stress that enough. I've seen people start them and they're gone. So that's that. I'm not saying this is set up perfectly. I'm just trying to help anybody that's, you know, struggling with them, because I did. So right, controller's on. We've got some sort of throttle. We've got steering, which is always a good sign. We've loosened off the glow plug a little bit. When you finish using it after an oil, if you're going to use it the next day or something like that, you're using it a lot, don't worry about that too much. But if you're going to put it on a shelf for any sort of length of time, get some after an oil in, because I've had one just seize on me. One of me hyper cage buggy, the engine seized at the pinch point at the top. Never leave them top dead center either when you're storing them. Make sure the piston's down at the bottom. So top dead center is piston at top, bottom dead center piston at bottom. Sorry if I'm boring you, teaching you to suck eggs, but it's got to be done. So we're going into, we've loosened glow plug, we've primed up the car, we're going to put on our little stick on the top of there, and we're just going to put the rotary on and then tighten up. You see the fuel coming out, tighten up the glow plug. Right, we're going to let that warm up now. So it's not perfectly set, idle's a little bit high. Just going to let that warm up, get some heat in that engine, and then we can start to mess about tuning. You see it's a bit rich at the minute, spitting fuel everywhere, that's okay. It's on cold start, we're just going to leave that like that. As soon as we've got some heat in, we can start ripping up and down. Sorry about the noise, crew. I think that's fairly warmed up now. The idle's settled a little bit. Because it's been stored for ages, I bought it off eBay, I don't even know how old it is or whatever. Everything's going to be a little bit sticky at the moment, so to start off, rather than trigger it, I just do it on the throttle trim a little bit. And yeah, that's why, because sometimes you just gun it, it cuts, and I've got all the body shell on and everything like that. So now I'm going to have to take all that back off. Of course, you could cut a little hole into the body shell so you can actually access the starter and that. So I'm just going to take that off, because we don't know if the low end and the high end is totally dialed in properly yet. It's something that, until we've run it up and down, we can't really do a proper tune on it. So just going to get use a little glow starter again, and just going to fire her back up. So, always when they're still like a little bit cold, they're always a little bit tricky to get going, but we'll sort that out soon. Oh, so it's probably the low end. It's probably still not warmed up enough yet either. So the low end, just to brighten it up a little bit, we're going to just turn that a very, very slightly, probably 2 thicknesses of the screwdriver in a little bit, because it will affect the idle, just liven up the idle just a little bit. We're probably too rich on the low end. If it's too rich on the low end, it'll just stall and cut. If you're too lean on the low end, it'll start being and it just does not like it at all. So I've just done a tiny little turn. Rich is more fuel, lean is less fuel for those that's in the know. So clockwise is less fuel, anti-clockwise is more fuel. So we're just going to try and brighten up that low end a little bit by leaning it. Where are we? I need that and that. Get that back on. And certainly the carb's a bit sticky, so idle gap's probably not perfect. There we go. Oh no, still not happy with that. So this is probably a low end issue at the moment. We know idle gap's okay, so you see, it could be, it might want to go the other way, a little bit more fuel on the low. Yeah, maybe it is. Where's the screwdriver? This is fun now, isn't it? This is the joys of nitros, but we'll have this running. It's spitting fuel everywhere at the minute, so what I'm going to do is just wind the low end back a little bit, so slightly richer this time, so about 4 screwdriver end sort of increments, and to see if it wants a little bit more fuel at the bottom. Just slight little turns. Looks like it did. We've got idle. Very rich. The low end is idle pretty much, and your trigger. High end is when you're building up mid-range to higher speed. We're just going to plod it around a little bit like this, just let it get some heat through it, get it burning efficiently. Very rich. It's very rich on the high end, that's why we've got no power. There's no oomph. So I'm just going to full gun it to show you. No oomph at all. And then we're drinking fuel like mad. So, brakes are sticking on. To sort that, we're going to start to lean out the high end. Let's just do a big half a turn on the high speed needle. There you go. A bit more power. There you go, see? So just run up and down, make sure it beds in nicely. A bit more on the high speed. Let's go a big nasty half a turn again. There you go. It's not always little turns. When you get close to dialed in, then it's little turns. There you go. It's still a little bit rich. Nice idle now and nice low end. Look. That's your low end set. So all we're worried about now is high end. We know idle gap's good. We know low end's good. So we're just going to tune the high, which is the main fueling needle. And get this. The brakes are totally sticking on. We'll do that on the trim, sort the brakes a bit. Right, wind in the high end a little bit more. Quarter turn this time. A quarter turn on high. When it gets too lean, it goes meow, 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 meow. Yeah, just wind it back a bit. There you go. It's tuned, ready to rip. That'll do for this session, that pretty much. There you go, it's as easy as that. Always make sure when you come out with it, especially if you bought it second hand, brand new fresh glow plug, it needs to be glowing bright as a button. You want them glow plugs bright. Sometimes they're glowing, but they're not always, do you know what I mean? They're not always right, so. Just because it glows doesn't mean it's going to goes. Sweet. Cool. So cut it out, pinch your fuel line. See that cut out quite quickly. Generally, when you pinch the line, 1, 2, 3 seconds. If that's what you got and it cuts, you're pretty much on a good tune. If it takes longer than that to cut, you're running too rich. If it's shorter than that, you're running too lean. I think that's the right way around. I'll leave that with you. Now we've got idle and everything, we should be able to get the body shell on. Right, so let's just recap. So we had flush on the high speed, half a turn in. We went flush on the low speed, quarter a turn out. So we've richened the low speed from flush and we've leaned out the high speed from flush. Now we've done 2 half turns and a quarter turn on the high speed to get some power going through it. The low end now should be pretty much set. I wouldn't touch that anymore, and we know we've got an half decent idle gap at 1mm, so we don't need to touch that. The only thing we need to worry about is that one. I say that is the main dominant needle, so sometimes, you know, if that one's well off, it can affect the other 2. Racers and stuff like really fine-tuned, they'll have it on a table and just be like really dialing it in, like, you know, tiny little increments, thickness of the screwdriver end, and getting a nice low end there. They don't want it to like stall, of course, while they're racing, but for what we're doing, we just want to get out. I'm not even sure if the throttle is fully opening down there either, due to it hitting that battery cover, which I'm going to have to sort out. I think that's just because it's the wrong carburetor on it. Carburetor. But yeah, it's simple as that. So we primed it, new glow plug, set the low, set the high, flush pretty much, and yeah, make sure everything's charged up, batteries and things, and that's it. As you can see, that's ripping. So I'm going to get this going again in a second, hopefully get the shell on, have a good rip up and down here, and that'll finalize this video. So low end tuning is where I definitely used to go wrong, where sometimes it weren't idle and you start winding that in. You think your idle gap's all right, and you know you flush on your high end, on high speed, you'll start winding that in thinking, oh, that'll brighten up the idle, but actually no, you're starving it of fuel. It's actually the other way. Give it more fuel on that low end, give it something to burn. Same with a high speed needle. Some of them have a mid-range. It's not got one on this one. Mid-range would normally sit down on there. Don't really touch that, just keep that flush, that one. That's transition from low to high, so if somebody has touched that, that can cause problems. I'm not saying you can't touch it, but you sort of just best not to, just leave it flush. This low end, sometimes it's a case of giving it more fuel, not less. So yeah, I cannot stress that enough. So yeah, go with flush and maybe a quarter turn out, and you'll find that nice idle, because you know your idle gap is right, you know you've got 1mm there. So it's got to be that that's the problem. And then you just sit there, just ticking over all nicely. We used a little bit of nitro fuel there because it was rich at the beginning. It spat it all over, but who cares? You watch it, oh, excuse me, you watch it stall. Don't stall. Always when you got the body shell on the stall. Oh! You can hear that meshing's a bit tight. Not worried for this video. Out the way, you! It's not perfectly tuned, but... Uh-oh. Well, no reverse. Not perfect, but hey, it's working. It's idling. It's good. Got stuck in this grass over here. GoPro battery's dying. I'm getting all mumbled up with my words. Come on, you. The driving's terrible. Oh! Sweet. Not the best place to go with this, really. Terrain's not great, but... There you have it. Oh, I like it. I like it. I love nitros. We'll get a little bit faster, that, you know, in the future. Nice bit of smoke all the way through the rev range. That's what you're looking for. Bit of smoke's good. And don't wreck your engine. Oi. So if it's too lean, it start like hesitating. So just wind it back a little bit more richer. But this is sweet. The sun's right in the camera there, isn't it? Oh, it's picking up. Whoa! Get some heat through that engine, and she's... Uh-oh. Stuck in the grass. Oh no. Sorry if I dazzled you a bit with the sun there. This GoPro's going to go in a minute, so... Well, it's going to cut. Anyway. There you go. I like it a lot. I don't know why it's just cut out though. I'm not sure what... Oh, the brakes are a bit sticky. Sticky. Let's just see what's gone on there. What have I broke? Yeah, everything clutch bell and that looks alright. See if it'll fire back up. I get the feeling that it's probably the glow plug that's had it. It is definitely running a little bit rich, but I'd rather leave it like that. Let's just open the throttle a bit. Okay, and just try again. It's done that on the trim, that. It's alright, glow plug's alright, don't panic. Well, I'm happy. Can't go in a straight line on here. Cool. Nitro power. Uh-oh, it's looking good. Oh no. Ah, it's a stone hit me head. Oh, what the? Ah. Oh. See you on the next one, peeps. Woo!